So I had just finished my first event with Bay Area intactivists. Frank was there. Jason was there. Where's Jason? There he is. I could feel you were over there. Danielle was there. And Jonathan, of course. Lloyd couldn't make it. I actually mistaked Frank for Lloyd at first. Anyway. So I get home and I make my first ever intactivist post ever. And I said something along the lines of that it's very good to see how many parents in America are doing research before they blindly subject their sons to a completely unnecessary and entirely harmful procedure. And of course, one of the first comments I received was from a cousin of mine, my best cousin, who had circumcised her son. And it was, one of those, how, dare you judge my parenting decisions comments. And it went on for a while, and I had some other friends who jumped in, and then my father called me and was like, "You're ruffling too many feathers! Like, stop it!" And then finally, Jonathan comments, like, hours into it, and he goes, "Thank you for speaking out, Brian. Your voice is important." And he attached the elephant in the hospital video, and he says, "This is a wonderful video, a perfect introduction for anyone who would like to learn more. However, if you'd like to defend your ill-conceived notions as to why cutting up healthy boys' dicks is okay, I'm sure you'll ignore it. Thanks again, Brian. Hopefully one day your friends and family pull their heads out of the sand." And I just said, holy shit. I was like, I had no idea that I was allowed to talk about this issue like that. And, because about a year before that, I had started to do some research, and I was getting very frustrated and angry with everything I was learning, and I felt really afraid to talk to anybody about it because I knew that I was going to be met with infuriating ignorance and that people were going to not understand. And obviously, as we all know, that's exactly what happens when you first start speaking out about this issue. And I really struggled for about a year, and I couldn't stop thinking about it. And I talked with some people who I trusted enough to confide in, and they all agreed with me, but they also all were like, yeah, but you got to stay quiet about it because it's just too touchy of a subject. And I hit a point where enough was enough, and I emailed this wonderful lady right here named Marilyn, and she said, "You need to get in touch with Jonathon Conte. He's running Bay Area intactivists. These people are doing great work, and I really think, you'll find yourself at home." And so I emailed Jonathan, and within an hour he responded, and it was a wonderful, eloquent message, and he was incredibly thankful for my interest in the cause. And he said, "We're doing a Improving Birth rally in Walnut Creek next week, actually, and that's your hometown, so why don't you come?" And I ordered this shirt immediately, made sure that it was there within a couple days so I could wear it, and I showed up to the event, and I was so impressed by this young, intelligent, intellectual, handsome man who was so infuriated about what was done to him as a baby and at what's going on in our country, yet he could sit there and deal with and anyone who knows me well, like, the extreme ignorant people, I have to walk away because I'll get in trouble if I stick around and try to talk to them. So I just have to walk away. And I have to go find people who are on the fence or are willing to listen to me. I'm working on it. I can't deal with the pig heads yet. But Jonathan could. And I remember the one thing that I always noticed about him was he never discussed himself. It was never, we all know how tormented he was that this body part was removed from him, but he never talked about that. I mean, the most you would hear him say, oh yes, I'm a victim. But it was always about the child, the individual's rights, not about gender. This is about humanity. This is about equality. And he always had a way of bringing it back to that central point of, it's not your body, it's not your right. I don't even know what the argument is because there isn't an argument. You know, this is just it. And I remember I approached Jonathan after that thread gone wild with my family members, and I said, Jonathan, I was like, you wouldn't believe what my cousin responded. She was so mad, and he goes, good. He goes, good. They need to hear it. He was like, good. He was like, they need to be shaken up. Let them have it. And, you know, if I could say one thing to Jonathan right now, I would just say thank you. You know? You know, I think that we all struggle with intactivism because we know we're right, but we live in a society of people who thinks we're crazy. And you know, I don't think that there are really many other issues in the world that are black and white. Almost every other controversial issue I can think of, except those that deal with equality, there is always some gray area. There is no gray area with this issue. It is just plain wrong to cut the genitals of children. Period. Period. Jonathan was the first person to give me courage to speak out about this issue the way it needs to be spoken out about. And you gotta rip off their band-aids. It's the only way. It's the only way. So, thanks, buddy. Love you.